Addy here, and this is Games I've Played Recently. This is a long-running tradition that I wish I actually bothered to keep up with, of videos that I've been making for half of my life at this point. I have some of these videos going back to like 2010, 2011 on my oldest still surviving YouTube channel. They're never, historically I wasn't making great videos when I made these, but I was very inspired by watching these videos from other creators way back in the early 2010s. Because it was a nice refresh from the typically multiplayer-focused side of gaming YouTube, where everything was about the latest meta or drama or latest and greatest news, and seeing someone talk about what they've been playing and not just be focused on the newest and best games was kind of reassuring as someone who doesn't just play the newest and latest games. This year's been a weird year. It's been a year of trials, a year of trying to lock down some stability, a frustrating year, and honestly, I haven't gamed a ton, but the games I have played have actually meant a lot to me this year. I think we're gonna start with the multiplayer stuff just to kind of knock it out, and then I will mainly focus on the single player stuff this year. Multiplayer stuff for me is filled with a couple of the typical things. I've put in a couple matches in Combat Master here and there because it's easy jump in, jump out. A couple matches of Splitgate. And then a lot of time into Halo, of course. Bounce back and forth between Infinite and Halo MCC. MCC is often full of way sweatier lobbies these days, and Infinite just kind of feels better to me these days, which I never thought I would say. But I haven't been playing a ton lately. Battlefield 2042 has been a blast. They had the Portal playlist that was like just a tour through the decades or whatever with all the old Battlefield games, and that was a ton of fun to play. They don't have that going at the moment, but 2042, whether I'm playing on PC or PS5, it is just a blast every time I jump in. Just jump in and play for a bit whenever I'm doing like capture card reviews or something. It's a lot of fun, and I hate that it had such a negative backlash, I think. And then I've picked up Battlefield 3 again. Specifically, I've been playing the Xbox 360 version, which is terrible. It's got too much blur everywhere to where you can't see anything, tons of aliasing jaggies that look awful, and it runs at 30 FPS most of the time. Although when I was streaming, I've been going back and forth between playing on the actual 360 and playing on the Xbox Series X, because it's backwards compatible. And when I was streaming it just recently, suddenly Operation Metro of all maps, which absolutely crashes your Xbox 360, and even playing on the Xbox Series X, trying to join a server with it was constantly crashing my game, and I had to dashboard and join a different server with that map. But for whatever reason, that one felt like it was actually running super smooth, and I can't really explain why, but most of the game is locked to 30 FPS. It's a terrible experience, but like that's how I started with Battlefield 3. And that was the experience for me. And since the servers are going to be shut down this year, I wanted to kind of go back and play it a bit and experience it. It's fun. It's a very pure Battlefield experience compared to these days. And then technically multiplayer game with my wife. Every once in a while when we put the time in, I have been putting in time to playing through the living world story of Guild Wars 2 with my wife. Guild Wars 2 is an MMO. My wife and I started playing it in beta, and my wife's been playing it pretty consistently for the past 10 years now. I played pretty hardcore with them at first and then kind of fell out of it. And so we're trying to get caught up on the story so we can play through the expansions together, because we played through the original story and everything together with our characters that we rolled together. And so trying to get through that, but there's always more fun stuff that ends up popping up from time to time. MMOs these days just, they don't exactly tickle me the same way they used to, and so I got to be in the right headspace to really want to do it, but I do enjoy it when I get to play with them. Also, I had to chop this in because I completely forgot to mention, on my iPad, I picked up Star Wars Hunters, and this is not sponsored. I've never interacted with the devs or the publisher. Nothing like that. A buddy of mine did have a sponsored video, so I joined on there and checked it out. And it is a lot of fun. I have put a bunch, like probably 10 hours into it at this point. It is super easy to pick up and down. The matches are quick. It's basically like Star Wars Overwatch Monday Night Combat Fortress 2. It's simple. There's not a whole lot of depth to it, although there is like decent. You got to balance your teams, and it's a hero shooter. That's not always my favorite, but in the simplified format, it's fine. It looks beautiful on my big old, 12.9 inch iPad Pro. I'm just playing with a controller. I don't have a backbone or anything, so just using a Xbox One pad. It's fun. I'm having a pretty good time with it. The different characters are a lot of fun to play with. It's fun to just try to challenge myself with different play styles and things like that, or to just level up one character really far. I really like the Rocket character, one of the first ones you get. Sentinel can be pretty broken. The melee ones are a lot harder to really do well with if you're playing against people who have thumbs. But yeah, it's been fun. Single player wise, which I've also been sharing a lot of these with my wife or my kid, Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2. We popped in Legendary Edition on the Xbox, and I played Mass Effect 1 and I feel like a tad bit of Mass Effect 2 on the 360 back in the day. I played through like half at least of Mass Effect 1 back in the day, but I didn't remember a ton of it. It's been like 15 years. I knew it was super impactful. I knew it was a big deal. I knew I enjoyed it, but it is one of my wife's favorite franchises. And so we finally sat down and started playing it. We were originally playing, I don't have any footage of this. We were originally playing through the first Assassin's Creed. And we made it probably 3/4 of the way through before realizing that we just weren't having fun with it. It was becoming a chore. And so we decided to just abandon it, to quit, and popped in Mass Effect 3 because we were struggling to get our gaming sessions in. I would just rather watch TV most of the time. So we popped in Mass Effect Legendary Edition on the Xbox, and I started Mass Effect 1 and blew through it. I put like 34 hours into it and had a blast. And then we started up Mass Effect 2. I'm not enjoying it as much as 1, if I'm honest, but I am enjoying it a lot. But we did pause to start up playing through the Dragon Age games, because the new Dragon Age game is coming out at some point. We don't even have an exact date, but coming out at some point this fall. The Veilguard. And I have my qualms about it, but I've not played through the full franchise. I did play through 2 and did a review of it on my old gaming channel back in the day. I played through it on 360, which is like the worst version to play. And so we're trying to play a modded up version on PC. Although I'm running into consistent issues with either the mod's not working and then I have to go back and fix them after I've already played through it and had it break my immersion a little bit, or there's just some of the like top community remastering mods really make changes that I don't like, especially for my first playthrough of Origins. But it's fun now that I'm getting through some of the bigger story moments. Like it's exciting and I do want to keep playing, but the combat is abysmal. And it's really surprising given I play a lot of these kinds of dungeon crawler games from that time period. Like some of my favorite games in the world are the Champions of Norath and Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance games on PS2. And these are old games for dungeon crawlery style. You know, they don't have the modern console Diablo controls and stuff like that. They're pretty rough. And the control in Dragon Age Origins is just awful for combat. Thankfully, we have some speed up mods and whatever. I'm just playing through it for the story. I'm not going to try to hardcore it, but I am enjoying it now that I'm into the story. I'm currently playing an elf mage. I wasn't liking fighter at first, and even though it is feeling better with the speed mods working and things like that, I don't think melee will do it for me. With my kiddo, I've been playing a bunch of Minecraft. He started up Minecraft towards the start of this year, like early spring, late winter, and had no clue how to use a controller. Like he started playing with me on the PC because I was playing it at some point. He was like, "Whoa, what's that? I want to play." And he wasn't really grasping mouse and keyboard controls as someone with tiny hands and who hasn't used it much before. Although he's picked up a lot recently. He likes playing with like text generators and stuff, so he's learning how to use the mouse. But we decided to put it on Xbox for him. And within a month, he basically mastered using the Xbox 360 controller, which was wild. And he's got a creative world with tons of beautiful stuff happening in it. He's got a survival world that he plays on peaceful, and then he's got a normal survival world that he plays with us because he gets scared of the monsters. But he has a blast. He builds all sorts of cool creative stuff. And like I said, his world makes me insanely jealous. He has so many cool things that just we find flying around his creative world. For a little bit there, I was hooked back on Pokemon Go and playing around in Pokemon Home again. Just trying to, there was a Cyndaquil community day, so I made sure I got a couple shiny Cyndaquils and was just kind of hooked back on it while I was on a bit of a Pokemon binge, doing some GTS trading and Wonderbox trading on Pokemon Home. I've kind of dropped that again. I also blew through my, thousands of Pokeballs I had stored up from the last time I played, so there's that. But I went through a bunch of quests, spent some time getting Pokestops and stuff. I'm kind of done for a little bit now. But I I am a little more than halfway through a Pokemon Emerald playthrough. I've been playing on my analog pocket, so I don't have a ton of footage. I'll probably just capture some for this. But I made it through Four Tree City and was making it past there. And I really enjoy it. I'm bummed because the battery died in my cart, so I need to replace that and then do the fix for the real-time clock so I could actually do berries and stuff, but it hasn't been worth it right now. So I'm missing out on some of those events, but I'm really enjoying this playthrough so far, and it's just going to contribute to what I've been doing, such as on stream where I'm playing through Pokemon Shin Red, and just in general, I'm trying over time, both on stream and off stream, to play through all the games and to build complete Pokedexes in them, now that I have all the tools to do so somewhat legitimately, and we're documenting a lot of that on stream. So I've also been playing Pokemon Shin Red, which is a ROM hack of Pokemon Red that makes it it's still true to Pokemon Red, but adds some quality of life stuff. It makes it possible to complete the Pokedex, things like that, and been having a fair bit of fun with that. I also started up this year, Cyberpunk 2077. I haven't had a whole lot of time to game by myself when the kiddo isn't around. Like, typically I'm gaming with my wife after the kiddo goes to bed, or watching shows with my wife. We've been watching Yu Yu Hakusho, we've watched through all of Malcolm in the Middle, Sailor Moon, the live-action Yu Yu Hakusho. We've been watching a lot, so haven't had a whole lot of solo playtime, but when I was playing some of it, I was really enjoying Cyberpunk finally. Like, I had never played it after launch, so I'm very excited to get more into that soon. That's been it. It's been a weird year, not playing any of the big games right now. I really want to get to Ghost of Tsushima. It seems like it'll be fun. I am going to continue playing a lot of Battlefield whenever I do put multiplayer time in, but I'm kind of burned on the state of multiplayer games at the moment. They just released a new teaser for Splitgate 2. I don't know. I was sold on it. I'm nervous. There's been some changes behind the scenes over there, and what I've seen from it, I'm getting pretty nervous that I'm not going to like it. So I'm preparing for the possibility that multiplayer gaming is not a huge deal for me. I want to get back to Diablo 4. I was super stoked for it and played a few hours with it leading up to Baldur's Gate releasing, and then Baldur's Gate 3 dropped, and I dropped Diablo entirely. So I want to get back to it. I think I might want to abandon my Barbarian run and do something more fun, but I made it decently far into it, so I kind of want to keep it going. And I'm hoping to start up doing some more PS2 games soon, because the new PCSX2 emulator just released a major update that I am also working on a video at the time of recording for that as well. I know it's not a lot, but like I said, it's been a weird year. I haven't had a whole lot of time for gaming. I've been really into my art this year, like really my artist phase. So I've been in my statue and miniature painting over on Analog Dreams. I have a music project that I technically haven't announced yet that I will tease here, that you're hearing some of it in the background, potentially, maybe not. That's separate from backing track, which is our typical stream safe, video safe music. I have a separate music project coming out. It will also be stream safe and everything, but it's independent of that I've been working on. That's been a lot of fun. Stuff like that. So I did want to share. I don't have a whole lot of outlet to talk about these individual games at all times, so I wanted to share. Like I said, I used to love these videos. I'm trying to just do more down-to-earth, authentic content that I would like back in the day. I think modern YouTube, clickbait, whatever, retention obsession kind of ruined that, plus the 2014 Twitch exodus, where all the gaming YouTubers became Twitch streamers instead because it was more profitable to just farm their viewers for tips. That plus the following major focus on retention and clickbait and stuff on YouTube really disrupted what I wanted out of the gaming YouTube scene. They're just classic gaming videos. And I never really got a whole lot of that back, and now that I've been doing the classic commentaries and things like that, I'm just trying to put the things I want to see into the world, if that makes sense. Hope you enjoyed any of this. Let me know what you've been playing lately, or if you've been playing any of the same games as me and what your thoughts on them are. If you're interested in more classic videos like this, go check out my Liminal Musings series. It's a classic gameplay commentary series. It's basically just like a podcast with gameplay going over it, where I talk about life topics and things like that. Again, Liminal Musings, playlist link below, and otherwise, remember to be kind, rewind.